Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We just hit 11 a.m. We have a bunch of people joining at the moment, and we will get started at 11:01 just to give people a chance to reconnect. We will be recording this, so it will be available later on for anybody that would like a copy of this. Share within the office. Be happy to provide that link. See, we have about 20 people on now. Go ahead, Casey. Take it away.
Yeah, sure. So, hey, everybody. And as Adam said, we do have some more people that will be joining, but we want to be respectful of everybody's time. We have a lot of content, exciting content to go over with you all. So first off, just thank you for joining the MDS Portal webinar today. I am Casey Friedberg. I'm the CRO here at MDS. And as you can see, I'm joined by much of the MDS team, including our presenters, Adam Friedberg, our CEO, Steve Cass, our senior software engineer, also the brains behind this portal, and really thrilled to have him joining us today. So Steve, would love for you to say hi, share a couple of words.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Nice to meet you. I've been the lead developer behind the new resident portal, and I've been having a blast with it. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Thanks, Steve. So, we're all excited to spend some time with you today, walking through the next evolution of this portal. We're going to go through what it does today, what's new, how it supports tenants, property managers, and outside stakeholders in a single native experience. We're going to be going through some context as well as live product demo. So you'll get both the why behind what we built as well as a real look at how it works. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the agenda so you know what to expect. We're going to start off with an overview of the portal landscape and how MDS fits in. We'll then talk about the flexibility with billing and the impact to adoption rates. From there, we'll get into that live demo, highlighting the new and upcoming features across both the occupant, the manager, as well as the outside stakeholder experience. We'll also touch on what's coming next on our roadmap and leave some time for questions and feedback. So before we get going and I pass it over to Adam, just a couple of notes, as you can see. So all attendees will be muted throughout the webinar, but please post your questions. We do have the Q&A feature. We will either be addressing them during the session where appropriate, and we'll definitely be saving time at the end as well for those not yet answered. So with that, Adam, I'll hand it over to you. Walk us through the portal landscape and really the thinking behind how we here at MDS have approached building this native portal solution.
You got it. Thank you, Casey. And welcome to everybody. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces and some names that I don't know yet. So it's nice to meet those of you that I don't yet know. And I'm really looking forward to taking you through especially the new features in the portal that we've been working on over the last few weeks. So development is really coming along fast and furious. But before we get into some live product, which is where I really want to spend most of my time, just a quick recap on the fact that MDS has been working with, building, and or helping other people build portals for about 16 years now. So we've learned a whole ton over the years, and we're really happy to be relaunching this product with being able to incorporate all those lessons that we've been able to put into it. So we know that really the very first thing that a portal has to be made of, or it's just not worth dealing with, is that it has to be a rock solid payment solution. So we've done that. We have ACH and credit card payments, both recurring and scheduled. We can handle probably anything that you want to be able to handle. And if we can't handle it today, talk to us about it, and we'll make it handle it because we have complete control over this solution. We know that resident ease of use is absolutely critical, right? Because the whole point of this is to reduce tenant phone calls coming into the office. It's to make your accounts receivable team more productive and efficient. And if it's not easy to use for the resident, then we won't be able to accomplish those things. So this should be a light lift. You send out a link to a resident to log in, and it's intuitive and easy to use. And then we also knew that we had to have just really flexible payment structures so that we can, which I'm going to talk about in a future slide, so I won't spend time on it here. So basically, the bottom line is that, MDS is your system of record for so many things, for the vast majority of what you do. So we're able to provide that kind of that one-stop shopping experience because we have access to all the data that you might want to expose, all of the different hooks that you might want to maybe collect information from residents and put it back into your system. It's just a natural fit to be able to do it through your core system so that you're not dealing with multiple logins, you're not dealing with multiple vendors, and everything is just a really tight integration. So, really, and to compare and contrast, I'm not going to go into a lot of details here, but when I show you the resident portal today, we don't have two systems talking to each other. It's really one system, right? Spire is essentially the resident portal. So, when I show you the ability to make report packages available to your investors, the thinking usually would be, hey, we have to upload those to the portal. But that's actually not true. They already live on the portal. So we just need to expose them to the investors. And I'm going to be showing you how that type of stuff works. So a really tight integration with a one single system means that there's just less potential points of failure, and we have immediate access to any data that you may want to work with or expose. So yeah, I mean, just interoperability, two different systems or more than two different systems talking to each other, they just disappear with a native solution like the one we're going to show you today. And then I mentioned the billing flexibility. Guys, you can have your residents pay for this. You can have your residents pay for it in some buildings, but you can pay for it in other buildings. You can have some combination of those things. We can put together a marketing incentive program if you want to, if you want your residents to pay for it and you want to be able to maybe even mark it up to some of your buildings. We are completely flexible, and all of this stuff has been automated from the beginning because we know how important this is, and it almost always comes up when we're having a sales type of a conversation, like how are we going to structure this billing? The answer is like we can always find a way to make it work. I really believe that. So it's very, very flexible. And really the bottom line is that manually processing payments is by far the most expensive way to do things, right? So if there's a cost involved with the portal, whether that's being passed on to the resident or it's being absorbed by the PMC, it will not be as much as the cost of handling a payment with a check coming into your office or even sending it out to a third-party lockbox. It's by far the most efficient way to handle this type of a thing. So let's get to the fun part, which is the live portal demonstration. I have I'm going to quickly review the payment side of things, but I'm really excited to show new functionality, which was on our roadmap from our last portal meeting, which was just about less than a month ago. And we've been making really, really solid progress very quickly. So there's really three things that are new that I'm going to go over today. First, I'm going to go over payments really quick, but then the three new things that I want to show are the ability for residents to make work order requests, which will flow directly back into your core database, Spire. I want to show you the board and investor dashboard, which currently gives you the ability to download report packages, which can very easily be exposed directly through the main Spire interface. So when your PMCs are logging in to do some sort of a maintenance task within the portal, they're not logging out of their where they usually are working and then logging in somewhere else. These features just become available to them through the core Spire interface, which is really nice. So just, again, less logins, more efficient. And then finally, I'll show you the ability to link multiple units together. So kind of probably one of the most common examples of that would be if you have a sponsor that owns many units in a single building, or you could even have investors that are associated with units across multiple buildings or even multiple units in multiple buildings. You can link those things together to make it very easy for one of your investors or sponsors or board members to log in and access multiple units at the same time without having to log out and log in and log out and log in, so they can make those sorts of payments and make work order requests for all of anything that they're associated with, which is totally controlled by the property manager. So we're going to be bouncing back and forth between the views. We're going to start off, I'm going to show you what it would look like from a property manager's view, and then we're going to bounce over to what that related feature would look like from a resident's view. But before we do that, I'm just going to get started by logging in as a resident. It's going to two-factor authenticate me, sending a text message to my phone. Comes through pretty much instantaneously. And again, I'm going to be logging in now as a resident, not as a PMC, just to start off. Okay, and I'm going to just start off in an actual unit. So we're going to get to the new and super fun and exciting stuff, but hey, payments are fun too, right? So just from a resident standpoint, the resident has logged in, and we try to, again, ease of use is very important to us. What do you want to do here? You want to make a one-time payment, or you want to schedule a recurring payment? We support both of those things. We also support we support multiple payment types, so we can set up debit cards, we can set up credit cards, and we can set up ACH bank accounts. And then once they have been set up, you can schedule payments to be made on a recurring basis. You can do things like full balance due. You can set a custom amount, or you're able to set a percentage of the balance due. Because if there are roommates in a particular unit, you do have the ability to grant all of those different roommates access to the portal to be able to pay their portion. So that's just a really simple example. Maybe you have two residents. They split the total cost of the rent every month. So each one of them might get set up to pay 50% of the balance due on the first of each month. So that's all possible. And while I'd be happy to answer more questions about payments later on, I would like to shift gears and talk about some of the new functionality, which is optionally available to you in addition to the ability to collect ACH credit card and debit card payments. So we're logged in as the resident right now. We're gonna jump over to the work order request functionality, which is new, and I'm gonna first show that some of the setup and some of the control that you have over the way that this system can work from the property manager's point of view. So I'm just logging in now to the main Spire site, and because my resident portal is turned on, I have different abilities under the system administration that might not appear for you today if you don't have the portal turned on. But should the portal be turned on, this is really where you manage most of what you need to manage. So again, we're going to start off talking about work order requests. So giving your occupants the ability to either create work orders in your system or to make work order requests for you to then approve. So I'm gonna click on Resident Portal Management. This gives me a variety of different options. We covered some of these in the last webinar, particularly around payments and transactions, but we're going to today be focused on work orders and documents mostly. But to start off, I'm going to click on work orders. So there's really two things I want to go over here. As the property management company, you have a couple of decisions to make to start off with. The first decision that you make is, do you want work order requests to come in as requests for somebody on your end to then review and approve, at which point they will turn into work orders? Or if all of the required information exists on a work order request, do you want it to just skip that step and flow right into becoming a work order? You have the flexibility to do either one of those two things. So really quick, this is simple. Do you want incoming work orders to be requests only, or do you want them to turn into work orders if possible? This is the decision that you're making on the database here. And then the other thing that will be exposed to residents, which we'll see when we log in as a resident, is that for those of you that use the work order system today, you'll be familiar with the fact that there's a drop-down box when you create a new work order to select the type of work that's being done. But we also know that some of you guys have 50 different codes, and you would never want to expose 49 of them to any of your residents because it's just overwhelming. Maybe the descriptions don't make sense to expose things like that. This will display all of the different work order codes that you have set up in your database, and then you're able to toggle on and off which of these should be available within the portal for your resident to be able to select from. So we're trying to make this configurable so that it can really work for anybody right out of the gates, even if you have a whole ton of work order codes that you would never want to expose to the resident. So this is really just the quick setup side of things. What I'd like to do now is jump over to the residence view, and I'm just going to make a work order request, and I'm also going to show you how that resident is able to take a look at a history of requests that they've made in the past, or perhaps they've just created work orders. So here we are, where this is the same view that we were looking at, the person that was just making payments. Now maybe they decide they would also like to request a repair. Again, we just try every little tiny label in the system is thought out because we want to make this very easy and obvious for a resident to use. So the types of things that you'll never notice, like very clear labels, those sorts of things, you'll never notice them because they just work. And that's kind of like the best features are just not even really noticed. So we're going to just click on request a repair, which now gives me the limited ability to select from the different maintenance codes, which I configured while I was logged in as a property manager. You can describe the problem here. You can upload a picture of the problem here. If you were logged in on your phone, you'd be able to take a picture right on your phone and upload it like that. But essentially, once you've filled in this very, very basic information, you can click create request, at which point you'll get a confirmation and it will show up under the My Maintenance Requests section of the portal. So this is the idea behind this is to keep the resident informed of what's happening with their different work orders or work order requests, depending on how you have things set up. And you can see what I tried to do is just create an environment where we have a variety of different things. So we have some completed items, we have an open item, and then we have two items that are still in the request phase, which I'm going to show you just I'm going to actually show you right now how that would flow in to to your main database to then be reviewed and approved should you decide to use the ability to submit requests instead of it going straight into your work order workflow. I'm bouncing around a little bit. I'm always going to try to illustrate which view I'm in. So we're going to bounce back to the property manager's view, which is, again, just through your core Spire login. And I'm going to go over to the work order section of the system. I'm going to click on requests. And this is the area that you will see should you, again, not be creating work orders just straight out of the gates. These are where requests will show up. And from here, you can review them, you can approve them, you can decline them. And as soon as something happens here, whether it be completed or approved, again, jumping back over to the residence view, this status will be automatically updated. This is the initial My Maintenance Requests view that we came up with, but literally anything that is exposed on the work order that a property manager can view can be very, very easily exposed here. So we love our customers' feedback, and if you wanted to include things like the description of work done, we would be able to do that here. So we're open to suggestions. It's the development of this portal is coming along really, really quickly, and things that I thought would take days or weeks have taken half days at this point. So I'm really excited about the pace of change. So that is not absolutely every little tidbit that we can go over around work order requests, but I think that gets the main point across, is that this is deeply integrated because it is the system. When somebody makes a work order request, it doesn't wait and then sync up later on or anything like that. Work order request will immediately appear in the work order request queue. When a work order is created, should you not have requests on it, would flow directly into your standard work order workflow. So no integration. It is the system. It's just working really, really clean. So we're going to have some time for questions afterwards, and continue. I'll just encourage you to post questions as they come up. I see that some have come in, and we've got our team here that will be answering some of those questions throughout. So let's go ahead and change gears, and let's talk about what could really be, it's a significant process in a in a property management office where you're distributing monthly report packages to either board members or investors or both. So, the current state of affairs on that is that you're either printing the packages from our system. Hopefully you're at least doing that. Otherwise you're printing a whole bunch of different reports. You're manually assembling them. Nobody should have to do that anymore. And that's been solved for many years. But you're going to be generating a report package out of our system, and then you're either printing it out, or if it's small enough, meaning it doesn't have any images of invoices in it, things like that, you might be emailing them to your investors, your board members, whoever the outside stakeholders might be. But we know that emails, they can fail because the attachments get too big to be able to handle by any standard email inbox. So the solution to that is, instead of emailing them out, is to upload them to the I'm saying upload. I'm just in a habit of saying upload. You're not even uploading them. You're just saying give these packages to these buildings, and the people that have permission, your outside investors and your board members, will now be able to download them from the portal. So I'm going to show you how that works really quick, because it is not what a third party might be able to give you the ability to do. Would be to maybe manually upload a report package that would be exposed to an entire building, or maybe to specific residents, but it would really be a manual process. I'm going to show you how we've automated that. So I'm going to click back over to the property manager's point of view, and I'm just going to go over to the regular reporting center, and I'm going to go over to the completed report packages. This is where, whether you have the portal turned on or not, this is where all of your report packages will always live. So here they are. Would you like to expose it, or many of these, up to the resident portal? You can do that very quickly and easily by simply checking off what you'd like to upload. Again, I'm misnomer. It's not really uploading. It's posting it to the investor portal, because there's not going to be any delay between me pressing this button and them becoming available. So these are things that I want to expose, and just keep in mind that the system knows which company every one of these packages is for. It knows the names of the different packages. It knows all those things. So it knows how to route them up to the portal without me having to specify. This one should be for company 100. This one should be for company 200. Just send it, and it's gonna send it up to the portal in an automated way. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Post. Yes. It's done. They're there. They've been distributed now to all my different outside stakeholders, whoever they might be. So this is a really key distinction between what a third-party system might be able to offer you in terms of report package distribution and what we're doing, because it's right from your main system. So now I'm either an outside investor, or maybe I'm a board member that lives in one of your buildings. We have the ability to grant access to the investor side of the portal to either type of resident. So again, the key difference is that a board member is almost definitely going to live in the co-op and be a resident. So let's hop over to what that might look like. So again, I'm on the I am looking at this from a property manager's point of view, and I'm going to just hop over to one of my residents that I want to make sure that they have access to the portal. So if I click on the view contacts, I can see here that Adam Grant has access to the resident portal. And now Adam Grant also has access to the investor portal section of things. While I'm here, this is really more for the ability to link multiple units together, which is the final thing that I'm going to show you. You also have the ability to manage, maybe Adam Grant is related to all of these other units in the building. And when Adam Grant logs in, I want Adam Grant to be able to jump over to all of these units without having to log off and log back in. This is how those links get created here. And the way that we handle outside parties, like an investor or maybe an accountant, something like that, is that we now allow you to add contacts onto a gen unit within a building, which acts as the placeholder for those people being granted logins to the portal, even though they do not live in a specific unit. They don't live in any unit, in fact, right? So you don't have to create a dummy building. You don't have to create dummy units within a building, nothing like that. You're going to use the gen unit, which we just thought made a lot of sense because you're already used to thinking of the gen unit as being representative things for the overall building. And that's essentially what this is. So that's where you would be able to add your investors in to grant them access. So to recap here, I have Adam Grant. We're actually logged in as Adam Grant. We're gonna be logged in as Adam Grant. Adam Grant will be able to jump across all of these different units. And Adam Grant will also have access to the investor portal side of things. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to, again, jump over to, just going to go to the overall landing page. You can see this is Adam Grant. I'm going to switch. So this switch unit toggle only appears because there are multiple units associated with Adam Grant. So I'm going to click on switch unit. And you're going to see now that I can jump over even across buildings, as long as they're associated. I can do really whatever I want to do here. So first things first, because we're talking about distribution of report packages, I'm going to take a look at the investor side of things. And you can see because I'm logged in as an investor, this investor is one of those guys that's tracked on the gen unit. So they don't have the ability to make payments. They don't have the ability to make work order requests. They simply have the ability to download the reports that we were uploading from as we were logged in as the property manager. So these things became instantly available as soon as I clicked post from the property manager's point of view. So very, very simple. I get an email that says my packages are available. I log in, I click here, and I'm downloading my report packages. So color images, really long report packages, doesn't matter how big it gets. You'll always be able to very easily be able to just host it and download it and distribute it, and then your investors or your board members will be able to easily download it. Super streamlined process. We're going to be talking about future features in a couple minutes, but there's a lot we can do here. As the system of record with all of the data that you would ever want to maybe expose, we want to hear your ideas. What else do you want to show investors? Do we want to create clickable dashboards with maybe an accounts receivable widget, maybe an accounts payable widget, maybe a bank reconciliation widget that people can then drill down into? How much do we want to expose? It's easy to do at this point. So that's really the question. But this is the core of an investor portal. So let's just quickly just switch units one more time, because I think that sponsor units is probably a very common type of a use case here where you're linking multiple units together. So because I just jumped over to a sponsor unit, which is an actual unit in an actual building, I have the ability to not only make payments, but I can also make repair requests. So it's really viewing this unit as if I had logged in natively as this particular sponsor. But because this sponsor is linked to all these different units, that gives me the ability to jump around. So I know that was a lot, fast and furious, but hopefully that all made sense. We're going to have some time to answer questions, but I'm going to jump back into the slide deck just to talk about, really, to review our roadmap from our last meeting, which was again just less than 30 days ago, and also to show you some of the things that we've actually added to the roadmap. So we talked about this stuff. I'm going to jump past there. So this is the exact same slide that I presented in our last presentation. And the goal was to get some of this stuff rolled out really by the end of March. But we've already completed a lot of these things. So automatic bounce check reversals and the batches flowing into your system, that's done. Work order requests, I just showed you, that's done. The owner investor dashboard, uploading existing report packages, that's done. Single sign-on for multiple units, I just showed that to you, that's done. We are currently, our apps are in the App Store. They're currently in a testing, a state of testing. So we're testing those, but they're posted, they're there, and it's really up to us to just give the green light for Google and Apple to approve them to make them available for download. So that's just about done as well. E-renewal access is the one thing that we talked about from the last meeting that's not done yet. But this stuff has all happened super fast, and I'm really, really pleased with the rate of progress that we're making on rolling out new features. So because we've made such good progress so quickly, we've added some additional items to the roadmap for Q1, which I'm going to share now. So I showed you how we're able to distribute report packages. The next obvious and fairly straightforward and easy thing to do is to give you, the property managers, the ability to upload building-wide documents, which will be available to all residents in a building. So what would be an example of that? Maybe the bylaws in a co-op, something like that. And you will also be able to upload individual documents that pertain to a specific resident if you wanted to do something like that. So announcements can be posted like that, flyers, again, like building-wide items like the bylaws, things like that. So kind of piggybacking off of that same functionality, the next thing, the other item that we'll be working on is the ability to automatically upload maintenance bills or rent bills, so that, again, we've analyzed some call logs of some of our customers that have been nice enough to share those things with us, because we're really trying to drill into the things that your people that are expensive have to handle through direct human to human interaction. We're not saying we don't want human to human interaction. I think that's really important, but what we want the humans dealing with are the things that the computers can't deal with, right? So things like, hey, can you send me a copy of your rent bill? Or what's my balance due? Those are really common questions that come in. Being able to download that statement directly from the portal should cut down on a lot of that stuff. The other thing that we're going to work on is the ability to for residents to update their contact information. This isn't necessarily something that we would expose to everybody, because I know that our customer base, you can have reasonable people disagreeing on this, that some people do not want this ability. They don't want the residents to be able to change anything. And then there's another camp that just says, yeah, absolutely, we want the most current information on file, and it's the resident's responsibility to provide us that information. So we're going to do this in a controlled way that keeps people up to date in terms of when a resident does make a change, and we'll come up with a workflow to be able to approve those sorts of changes. And then finally, the new feature that we've added to the roadmap, which I'm particularly excited about, and I think has a lot of different use cases, and we'd be super interested in hearing all the different people on this call's opinion as well, but is the ability to collect documents or documentation from your residents through the portal, but not doing this in a hard-coded type of a way. What we want to give you the ability to do is to create categories of required documents that are also related to a period. So maybe you need an income affidavit for 2025. So you create that requirement for a specific building, and then when residents are logging in, they're going to be prompted to upload and to provide that information, which could then sync back to your main Spire database, so that you are completely eliminating any manual data entry that would have to be performed. So I'm using income affidavits as an example. We have some Mitchell-Lama customers that have to do that every single year. I think this could be a real game changer on that front. And then the other thing that I've heard multiple requests for is the ability to keep we already have the ability to track what people's renters insurance policies are, when they expire, things like that. But it would require your staff to collect that information and then manually upload it into the system and fill in any blanks. We want to give the residents the ability to do that and perhaps even purchase renters insurance if they don't already have it, which will then grab all of that policy information and sync it back to your system, which you could then use the tools that already exist to report on who has expired insurance information. When the things do expire, they're going to start to reprompt the resident to upload the new policy information. So again, those are where we look at those things as it's a soft feature. I'm using those two things as examples of things that we might want to collect from residents, but really the sky is the limit, and we could really allow you to be creative to collect anything that you want in an automated way. So let's see. These are really, this is just a recap of all those newly roadmapped portal items. And just to kind of recap on the whole ball of wax here, and then we'll have some time for questions, is that, just having a native portal application is really, it's the gold standard, right? So we've had a lot of requests for this, and we're really excited to being able to have spent all the time that we spent on it, and it's just coming along really quickly. So we don't want multiple systems talking to each other, and we don't want you to have to log into multiple systems to accomplish your tasks for the day. And then the same thing on the resident side of things. We don't want a resident to have to necessarily log in to grab their reports, to make work order requests, to make payments. The gold standard is to be able to do all that in one stop shopping, which is what we're going for. And then the same thing is true for you to not have to deal with multiple vendors, so that you can deal with our support team, or you're already used to dealing with. If you have a question about how to post a report to the package center, our support team can help you with that. You have a question about why maybe a payment hasn't cleared yet. Again, our support team can help you with all of that, and it's one-stop shopping. And then, really, just to kind of put a bow on everything, is that the vast majority of the data that you work with and collect in your working lives is all aggregated within MDS. So that puts it really at our fingertips, and we can expose it in really easy, efficient ways, depending on how you want to work with these things, depending on how you want to expose these things to residents. Really, the sky is the limit for us to create super feature-rich product without a third party involved, without interoperability concerns, because it's all one system at the end of the day. So that concludes my rapid fire presentation of existing and new features within the MDS resident portal. And we'd be happy to open the floor to any questions. And I think I'll turn it back to the team and chime in as necessary. But you guys have been monitoring questions as they've been coming in. And I would just, I would encourage you to post additional questions now. And I'll turn it back over to Casey and team.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, so please continue adding some questions here. So we do have a question here. It says, do the charges automatically get assigned to the unit if there's a charge for a work order, or does it have to be put in manually?
So when a work order gets created, it follows it's almost as if you had added the work order manually yourself. And when you add the work order manually, you have the ability to assign charges to that work order. So that is at the point at which you can assign charges to this work order, just like any other work order, at which point it will follow the exact same workflow as if you had done it manually yourself, except that you're able to now skip the step to where you click add work order, you select the unit, you describe what has to be done, you assign the work code. All those things can be, really performed by the resident, and then you're just filling in the blanks, including if you would like to charge for the additional work being performed.
Thank you, Adam. So I'm taking a look in both the Q&A section as well as the chat. That's the only question we have as of right now. Please, if there's other questions, please share them. Adam, you went through everything in a thorough manner. So thank you for that. Uh, as you can see, to everyone on the call right now, you have your team here really ready to help you out with this. We've been having lots of conversations regarding this portal, lots of interest, lots of feedback, which is where a lot of those things that I've talked about came from. So thank you for that. We will be reaching out afterwards, but Eddie, Vicente, Wendy, we're ready to take calls, ready to assist with this. So please let us know how we can help. I know Cindy's been working hard as well to get these implemented, and we're excited to help as many of you as we can with this. So if there's other questions, again, please take a moment, go ahead and put those in the chat. We'll give it a minute or so.
While we wait for those questions to come in, I do want to just give an extra special shout out and a thanks to Steve Cass, Cindy Dupaton, and also to Steve Keller. There's a lot of people on this call. I know Steve's here somewhere, but you guys have been instrumental in getting this product rolled out really as quickly and as thoroughly as it has been. So kudos to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, been fun.
All right, so we just got a question. Just unfortunately joined the meeting a bit late. Is the full webinar available to us? And yes, it looks like Eddie already answered that, and we'll make sure to send it over once we have it. Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, it'll be later today. It takes a little while to compile and upload, but it should be ready today.
Yeah, and something on that note, I'll share as well. Check us out. I know many of you already are connected with us on LinkedIn. Please find us on LinkedIn. Follow MDS because we will be posting content there as well. We'll be sharing updates as we have them. And I just want to stay connected with you all as much as possible.
Yeah, and I guess while we're waiting for more questions to come in, and we have so many people on the call, really things have been happening so fast. Those new features that I added, to be fair to Steve Cass, we haven't sized them up all entirely, but at the rate we've been going, our goal is to really wrap that stuff up by the end of this month, thereabouts, and then we're shifting gears into artificial intelligence functionality, and we plan to have that basic MVP, minimum viable product, artificial intelligence functionality out to beta testers by February 15th. So a lot of that skeleton and structure is already done. So it's really just a matter of getting people banging on it and trying it out and using it and giving us feedback. But we're super excited about that. And the first iteration of that will be effectively to allow people within your office through just natural language chatting to ask questions around work orders, vendor invoices, and tenant balances. So, for instance, how much money do we owe ABC Plumbing? And then maybe the chat bot doesn't have enough to say, well, you owe ABC Plumbing $1 million. Would you like me to narrow that down by building? So we're very excited about that. We already see it working as a proof of concept, and we're going to shift gears right around February 1st to that functionality. So any other questions that have come in?
No other questions at this time.
Okay. Once again, thank you to the team. Thank you to all of our wonderful customers who've joined us. We're looking forward to doing a lot more of these, and we have fun doing them. So Michael Popilski asked who the payment processor is. The answer is Priority Payments. They're a big company located down in Atlanta, publicly traded. You can check them out. We can certainly provide more information if you'd like it. They are powering other resident portals out there in the world already. So we spent a lot of time selecting a processor because we know that's very important. Okay. I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, I think so. Adam, thanks for going through everything, and keep the questions coming. Reach out to Eddie, Vicente, Wendy, any of us. We're happy to answer them. We're happy to do some individual demos as necessary as well. Go through pricing and see how we can help you with this. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.